Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Steph if you're new, and today we are doing another monthly reading wrap-up for the month of May. So if you're curious to see everything I read this month in May, then keep on watching. So actually this month is one of my all-time lows for however many books I read, because it was finals week the first week of May, the second week of May I went to Hawaii, and the third week of May I flew to New Jersey, and now I'm in New York. I've not been home for a single week this month, or I was home and it was finals week. But I did manage to read I think 10 or 11 books, so I'm gonna go through and explain all of them to you right now. So the first books I read this month were the Selection series. I read the first 3 books, did it in a reading vlog, so I'm not gonna go in depth about those at all because I literally did an entire reading vlog of me documenting the entire process of reading that series, but I'll do a brief little synopsis. I know this book is so popular and widely loved, and everyone loved it as a kid. It's young adult fantasy. So basically it's about this girl America. In their world, they kind of have a division system, kind of like Divergent or the Hunger Games, where they're all divided into districts, but they call them castes. She's a 5 and it goes up to 8, I think. She's dating a boy in a lower caste than her, but her parents set her up to go to the palace to basically be a bachelorette with 35 other girls to try to become the princess. And basically the prince goes through these 35 girls from all the different castes, picks one, and she becomes the princess and eventually the queen. It's kind of a love triangle trope. She's dating this boy who's in a caste lower than her, and then she gets moved up, and Prince ends up falling for her. She's also in love with her past boyfriend, falling for the prince. Love triangle between the two of them. The past boyfriend ends up working at the castle, and they're all in the same dynamic. She's also competing for the prince with these 35 other girls, and they're getting narrowed down. There's a bunch of drama. It was interesting. I did get really frustrated reading it though. So yeah, those were the first 3 books I read. So right after I finished the Selection, the Elite, and the One, I got on a plane to Hawaii and I read Heartbones on the plane. Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. So good. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, only because I'm really picky with my 5 stars. You guys know. It was so good. Colleen Hoover is my favorite standalone author ever. It was incredible. Basically this girl named Bea, she lives with her mom, and her mom is kind of she does drugs. She does not take care of her daughter. Bea worked at McDonald's. She had to buy everything for herself. She would literally go to bed hungry, and then her mom ends up passing away, and she calls up her dad and doesn't tell him that the mom passed away, and she hasn't seen her dad since she was a kid, but she calls up her dad and is I need you to pick me up. I want to spend the summer with you, whatever. And he's like, okay, cool. The dad brings her to his beach house, and he's pretty wealthy now, and she's like, what, you've been living like this? And I've been living starving paycheck to paycheck. And she gets there and she meets her new step family and stepsister. Her name's Sarah. She meets Marcos, who's Sarah's boyfriend, and Marcos' best friend Samson, who is the love interest, and he is super wealthy, bounces around from all his parents' different summer homes on this little island they live on. Bea and Samson could not be more different, the way they grew up. Sarah and Marcos are trying to set them up, and they're no, we have nothing in common, but then they slowly realize they do actually have a lot in common. They start bonding and hanging out, and the development of the relationship is really cute because they start realizing how much they actually do have in common. And then of course there's a Colleen Hoover plot twist. I mean, this book was more of Colleen's cutesy books more than a sad rip your heart out book. There was a small plot twist I kind of saw coming. It was so good. I loved this book, and I loved the characters so much. They're just so cute. If you like that kind of summer romance, high school going to college age, first love, read Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Then as soon as I finished Heartbones, I read The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and everyone on TikTok had been talking about People We Meet on Vacation, and I loved Beach Read by Emily Henry, so I knew I was gonna like this one, and I did. I loved it. It was friends to lovers, but the way it was written was so unique because it shows, I think from 12 years ago when they met, 12 to 15 years ago, each vacation that they've taken together, you get a chapter about, but then it also bounces back to the present, to them not speaking anymore, and they keep mentioning, oh, this one trip where everything went wrong and we stopped talking and we're not friends anymore. And so you get to see the summers of them developing their relationship, friendship during these vacations, because they would go on vacation together every year, and then you see their friendship develop to more, it's kind of a second chance romance. It was so good. The angst, the longing, and the desire for each other, I literally had butterflies. It was so good. I love this book so much. If you the kind of the outspoken, loud, confident girl, quiet, orderly, serious boy, you would love this book because that's exactly what it is, and it was so good. Usually Friends to Lovers is not my favorite, but this one was absolutely Chef's kiss. I loved it. No flaws. Okay, after People We Met on Vacation, I read Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. I think Melina's Library was talking about it on TikTok and she thought it was so good and so like steamy, and I was like, I haven't read a steamy book in a while, I'll read this one. I think it's part of a companion novel series and I think it's the third book, but I actually read it first. It was about this girl named Bethany and she struggles with really bad anxiety, but no one knows because she puts on like this perfect front. Everyone thinks she's perfect, has her life together, but then you see her like struggling on the inside so bad. She works flipping houses, or like construction flipping houses, with her whole family in this small town. Bethany and her brother are like going head to head in like this whole like reality TV, who can flip the house better, and then they're like competing. One day this boy, he is younger than her by like 7 years, comes into town to take care of his niece. He's working for her brother and he ends up switching sides and working for Bethany, and they're obviously so attracted to each other, but she, because she's trying to be like perfect, is so mean to him, and like he sees her like having anxiety and he's like the only person that sees her flaws pretty much. So she's like, oh my god, he sees that I'm not perfect, like I can't be near him, like this is dangerous. But then he's wanting to get to know her. It's definitely like a boy chasing the girl trope so hard. Like he wants her and she's like no no no, like whatever. And Wes is taking care of his niece in this small town because his sister is kind of not doing her best, so he's taking care of his niece. So it's kind of like a single parent trope too, and like Bethany finally giving in to the angst and the tension between them. But yeah, I like this book. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite, but it was really good. And then when I finished Tools of Engagement, I read The Perfect First by Maya Hughes, which is the first book in the Fulton You series. I've been dying to read this series forever because I love sports romance companion novel series, like Off Campus, The Kings of Rittenhouse, that vibe. So I knew I was gonna love this one. So I read The Perfect First, which is about this girl named Persephone. She goes by Steph, comes from a really strict, like her parents are super strict. She's been super sheltered. All she knows is school, school, school her whole life. And she gets into this Ivy League school and she kind of never had like a social life. She's graduating at 19. She's so young. She comes up with a bucket list of all these things she wants to get done in her last year of college because she feels like she's done absolutely nothing and she's so young. She's already graduating and like whole adult and all she's cared about is school. So she comes up with this bucket list of all these things she's gonna do this year. She meets this boy named Reese. He's a football player. He's so popular, kind of gets around, likes to party, lives in a house with all his friends. He meets her. He's intrigued by her. He thinks she's kind of weird, but also is like, I can't stop thinking about this one girl. He agrees to help her complete like all the tasks on her bucket list, except one of them, which is she wants to sleep with someone. And he's like, I'll help you do everything besides that. Sure. Anyway, so you can see where that leads to. They do all this stuff together. He ends up falling for her so hard, and it's cute because it's like kind of nerdy quiet girl meets popular boy. I really enjoyed it. Definitely cliche, but so good. And then as soon as I finished that one, I read The Second We Met, which is the second book, which is enemies to lovers, about another boy that's on the football team that lives in the same house with Reese. His name is Phoenix. The next door neighbor has been calling the cops on them every time they have a party. She hates him pretty much, and he's like, why is this the only girl that ever hates me, and like why is she trying to ruin all our fun? She's like big into like doing charity work and all this stuff, and he ends up volunteering at one of the events and they work together and they like sort of talk it out kind of, and she realizes she misjudged him because of the trauma of her past, and he's like, oh, I kind of see why you thought that way, whatever. They start forming this relationship. So cute. I love this book. I love this one even more than the first one. And then after I read The Second We Met, I read The Third Best Thing, which is Birkenjules, which is another boy in the house. Again, companion novels, kind of like Off Campus. They all live together and they're all on the same football team. This one, I'm reading it right now, is so good. Like, it's so good. Okay, so basically Burke has been getting these like anonymous love letters and like steamy notes from like some secret admirer for like a year, and he's been writing back to them and they've been writing back and forth, like so many letters turn into like them getting to know each other, but he has no idea who she is. And then Jules, his next door neighbor, agrees to help him find out who's writing these notes, and obviously it's her. You're in her perspective and she's like the one writing them. Oh my god, it's so good. That was the last book I read this month, but today is only, can you see this? May 28th. Still have 4 more days of this month to read, so I know I'm gonna read more, so I'm gonna tell you the rest of the books I'm reading. I had to film this video today because I know I'm not gonna get time to film this another day this week, so I'm filming it today even though the month isn't over. But the next book I'm gonna read after I finish Third Best Thing is The Fourth Time Charm, which is the 4th book and the last book in Fulton You, and I am so excited. I don't think I've ever anticipated a book like I've anticipated this one because it was was teased in the Kings of Rittenhouse series. If you've read the Kings of Rittenhouse series, the hockey romance series by Maya Hughes, it's in the same universe, so they have the same like friendship characters. People know each other from those series and this series. It was teased in that series, and it has been teased since the first book in this series. Basically, Marissa and LJ have been friends since they were like 5 years old, and they've been best friends. Everyone gives them a hard time. It's like, you guys are in love with each other, you guys are in love with each other. Since Kings of Rittenhouse, everyone has been giving LJ a hard time. Everyone has been giving Marissa a hard time, being like, it's so obvious that you guys love each other. Like, what are you doing? Why are you just saying you're just friends? Like, we all know you're not. And they're like, yes, we are. We're best friends, whatever. I guess they have tried dating in the past and it didn't work out. She ended up ending things with him, and he decided it would be better to have her as a friend than lose her altogether. So they decided to just be best friends. In the Fulton U series, before we even get to their book, we see that she's moving in with LJ because there's a fire at her apartment. She moves in with LJ. She has no clothes. She's wearing all his clothes, and he's so protective of her. The boys always joke like, oh, like what if I try to get with Marissa? And like LJ always goes ape. He gets so mad. And so I'm just so excited to get to their books, Childhood Best Friends to Lovers. I'm probably gonna start it like tonight or tomorrow. I am so excited. I'm probably gonna read it in one sitting. I'll definitely let you guys know how it is in like a future recommendation video, obviously. But yeah, that's another book I'm gonna read in May. And then the last book I'm gonna read in May, I'm very scared about. It's probably my least anticipated read, which is a full 180 about what I just said, and it's Fearless Like Us by Kristen Beck-Ritchie from the Like Us series, which is the spin-off of the Addicted Calloway Sister series, which is my favorite series of all time. There's a spin-off series called Like Us about the kids from that series. I loved the first 7 books of the series so much. I was like, oh my god, I almost love it as much as the Addicted series. Not quite, but I love it so much. Then the 8th book came, and I absolutely hated it. It was about one of the girls having a polyamorous relationship with 2 of the boys, and this is the 2nd book of her story, and I know I'm just gonna hate it just as much, but I have to read it because I'm so dedicated to like this entire Addicted universe and like getting the Easter eggs of the future books to come in this series about the other characters that I love so much. So I know I have to read this book, and I am excited to read it even though I know I'm not gonna like the romance. I love the characters. And that's the last book I'm gonna read in May. It actually released today, but I'm gonna wait a few days to read it because I'm in the middle of reading Fulton U. But yeah, those are all the books I read this month / am reading the last few days of this month. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below other book videos or videos you want to see from me. Follow me on my other social medias. They're all linked down below as always, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye!